This is RiverTalks with Jonathan Brush, President and CEO of Unbound.
My father is a woodsman. The difference between a woodsman and, say, a run-of-the-mill camper or backpacker or somebody who's just an outdoorsman is that, if you go camping or backpacking and everything goes fine, you're doing great. But then when things go badly, you might become a statistic. For my father, if things go badly, he would consider it an extended vacation. He's the kind of person that, if he got lost or his plane went down the wilderness or something, when the search and rescue team got there, they'd find that it already built a cabin, put in 6 months supply of food, and gained 5 pounds. That's the difference between an outdoorsman and a woodsman. And so growing up, I was very much, in awe of my father, and he taught me a lot of things. But I also grew up reading an awful lot of survival books. I read books about how to survive, but more than that, I read a lot of books about survivors. Things like Adrift, about the guy that spent the record amount adrift at sea, and about a Rickenbacker, I think that's it, who his plane crashed in the Pacific, and his tale of survival, tales of people whose planes crashed in the Alaskan wilderness or who got lost or all those kinds of things. So just a lot of survival stories. And one of the things that you learn from those survival stories, one thing that is common to all of them, is that ultimately the ones that survive are the ones that endure. And there's a couple of elements there's the immediate and most obvious element of endurance, which is they just persist. Day after day, they get up and they make it through one more day. And oftentimes they talk about making it through one more step, one more night, one more task, one more process, breaking it down to these small pieces and just concentrating on that and step by step acting in such a way that they endure. So that's an element of it. The other element is there's an element of hope. Those that endure because they think something better, something bigger is coming up, that they are hopeful in a rescue. They're hopeful in walking out of the wilderness. They're hopeful in surviving until they get to where they're going, till they arrive at their destination. And then the final piece, of course, is skill. You can endure all you want, but there's still some level of skill that's necessary. The ability to build a fire in cold situations, the ability to harvest and store water if you're adrift at sea and all that salt water. There is some level of skill. And of course, the higher your level of skill, the better your chances of long-term endurance and your better chances of survival. That's true in wilderness survival situations, but the older I get, the more I realize that it's really true in life as well. That there's a significant element of this that is transferable. That almost every situation in life, every situation where you're running into problems, you're having issues, you're having difficulties, you don't having trouble figuring things out, the answer is almost always to endure, to spend just a little more time, to concentrate on just the next task, to outlast, to persist, to wait it out. And the skills are the same. The people that endure the best are the people that hope, that they look towards a future and they have the ability to imagine and envision a better future, an outcome that will be more desirable than the thing that they're having to put up with right now. And of course, there's an element of skill. Those who are better able to endure and during the problems of life are those who are better equipped to deal with life, period. They have relational skills. They have networks of people and relationships that they can rely on. They have some ability to learn, to adapt, and to use whatever skills they need to deal with the problem that they have at hand. But more than that, I want this to just be an encouragement. There are some of you who are listening to this who are in a period of time where it's hard to see the horizon line, that things are really hard right now. And it could be that it's a physical problem. You've injured and you're trying to heal, or you have a problem that doesn't heal. It could be that you're facing some sort of mental problem. You are in despair about something, or it's hard to kind of see what your purpose is, or what's supposed to be the next step, or what's supposed to be you're supposed to do next. And for some people, it's a spiritual problem. God doesn't seem present. Your prayers seem to be bouncing off the ceiling. You're not sure what God wants of you or be connected with God. I don't have answers for all those things. I rarely even have answers for a small next step for those things. But if I've learned anything, it's that all of those things resolve, and often resolve in a good way, if you but endure. The longer you last, the more opportunities open up. The longer you last, the better your chances of being able to figure something out. The longer you last, the longer the chance of something unexpected happening. And especially for those who follow a Christian faith, you're enduring for a reason. There is a bigger story. There is a future hope, regardless of whatever circumstances you're in. So whatever you're facing right now, whatever you're struggling with, whatever you're having a really hard time with, I don't know what else you need to do, but the one thing I'm really certain you need to do is endure.